Gotta love technology.
I'm Sherry Mraz, the owner and founder of the Wellness Cooking Academy.
And I'm Lori Riddle. I'm with Social Bee Marketing.
Lori had some information she wanted to share what a good lead looks like and what to do when a lead comes in.
Well, yeah, actually, it's more how to get that lead. So I was working with a new client earlier this week, and sometimes you kind of forget that not everyone understands how do you get these people in your on your email list, or how do you get these people that you can even talk to. So I kind of spent some time going through the process with her. It might be a review for some of you, but if it's brand new to you, then that's great too. So pretty much what we were talking about, she's brand new health coach, just finished her certification program, and she's like, I kind of know what I want to do. She's like, but how do I even find these people? I'm like, well, that's a really good question. Where do you get all these people? And there's a lot of different ways. But we're going to kind of focus on how do you find them online today. And, you know, there's a couple different ways. One is just showing up on social media. In the end, that is our goal, to have an email list so that, we can communicate with these people. We can let them know about new programs we're offering, specials we're having, and whatnot. So you want to do that you want to offer them something. So usually we do that with, a free product or a product that we have that we're giving away for free today. And that can be anything from, it could be a PDF.
We have, even on the Academy, we have like the free handouts that you can brand to your business. So it's on the website under the resource tab. There's a drop down under the resource tab. The bottom drop down is to get a free handout that you can use for your clients. Just so I wanted to say that, because it's kind of sometimes a bit of effort to build your free offer.
Yeah. Well, and I think free offers now are a little bit different than they used to be. They used to be like super easy to whip up. But now you almost they have to have some value to them. So you kind of have to think about it. Is this something that I would sell? And if it's got enough value that you think you could sell it, then that's probably a good freebie. I mean, people are a little more savvy and a little bit more wary about handing over their email addresses these days. So you kind of have to think about, is this, something that somebody would give me their email address for? So that being said, I mean, it could be the PDF that you create. It can be a booklet. It can be a mini webinar. It could be, a whole myriad of things. But once you have that, together, so how do I entice people with that? And then how do I get their email addresses back? So you have to, think about what your freebie is. And then, generally you want to have some sort of landing page or some sort of way to collect an email address, whether that's a pop-up on your website. Like on Sherry's website, she has several pop-ups that all we're asking for is just an email name and an email address, and then you get your freebie. You could also have a small landing page that, pretty much gives a little bit more information about the product, and then essentially collects the same thing.
And it sounds like, oh, we're giving away a freebie, just so everybody knows. It sounds like you're giving away a freebie to get something, to get an email. But really all it is kind of like, think of your meal. It's the appetizer. It's just a small piece of what you do to sample it. So you're not trying to you're really not trying to approach it like, I want to get all these emails so I can sell. No,
right.
You want to give them a sample of what you do so that some of the people will be interested and some people will drop out. So that's okay. You're finding your audience by giving that freebie, just so that they see there's value to what your bigger programs are.
Yes. And it works to that no trust factor. So, it might be the content that they want, but maybe they think, oh, maybe that person just isn't a right fit for me, just based on, how it's presented, or that type of thing. So definitely it's a good way to start to get to know these people and them get to know you. So once you have a way to collect all this information, then you need a way to get it back to them. So that's where your email responder comes in. Once you collect their email, then you send them, hi, I'm so glad you're here, welcome email. Here's the pamphlet on X. Take a look at it. If you have any questions, let me know. Join me on my Facebook group, and all those things that, you would say when you're first meeting somebody. And then you can use that as now you've got a funnel, like an email sequence to kind of check in on them like day two, find out, did they get the download? Do they need it again? Here's the link again. Cause I know I get so many emails
Yeah, it
that
goes into
sometimes,
the email abyss.
yeah, so I forgot that I got it. And,
Mhm.
so it's always nice to get that little extra reminder. But then you spend a couple days sending them an email and just kind of talking about, what you sent them and then, what kind of programs you offer or, just kind of, nurturing them and massaging and making them feel warm and fuzzy about you. And then you can lead them to the next step. So whether that's joining a group of yours or whether that's purchasing, some sort of program of yours. So it just sort of leads them through that process to hopefully become clients of yours or customers of yours, however you want to look at them. So you kind of have to have like there's like multi, steps to all this process. So you kind of have to like think about it in chunks. And then, like, I guess the final piece of that is, well, how do I even tell people about this offer that I have? Well, there's 1,000 ways you can do that. Word of mouth, talking in Facebook groups, talking, to people maybe in your yoga class or out in the real world. But you can also, use organic social media posts, posting on Facebook, posting on Instagram, or wherever else you may be. But then you can also set up ads. Ads are a great way to get your content in front of more people. And if you're setting it up as a lead generation ad, you can actually get quite a few leads for very little money. So you got to think about all those different things. But it's not like, okay, I've created this document. Now, how do I get it out there?
And I want to say for those that right now, if you're watching this, that it's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
because that sounded like a lot, Laura, and it is a lot. There's so many opportunities. And
Yeah.
the corporate lunch and learn, which honestly, I think that's one of the best ways to get leads because if everybody knows somebody who works at an office, and if you can get in to go and do like just a little mini cooking class, like we have the cooking for more energy, nutrition for busy people. They're only like one small recipe with all the handouts. That's what that lunch and learn package is because they're at work. They got like an hour, it's a short time that you're in front of them. But think about all those people who they may not have sought out your advice or a cooking class, or it's an opportunity to like have these people that they're in front of you now and their light bulbs are going off like, oh my gosh, you mean if I eat this, I'm going to have more energy? I'm not going to have to just drink coffee all day or whatever the case may be. The diet.
As I'm very tempted to reach for my cup of coffee, but go on.
Yeah. But honestly, like I think that you have to find your niche. And I'm not a social media expert. Sometimes I'm on there and I find that it'll take me down the rabbit hole. I'm like a half an hour later, I'm like, what the heck? What did I even come on here for?
Well, that's why I always recommend that people say, I'm going on Facebook for 15 minutes for the sole purpose.
I have on my phone for it.
Yeah.
Tells me.
And same here.
Yeah. but you just be careful because what happens if you're going on there with the intent of posting something for your business, then you have to be very clear, like this is what I'm doing because you're going to get pulled down the rabbit hole. But also want to give Lori a plug because I do know how I did it in the past, run ads, but it's not my thing. You have to find what your things are and stick with that because otherwise I could waste a whole day trying to put together a social post and put it on my ad manager and blah, blah, blah. Like it's going to kill my day. So, you get help where you need help. Like I have Lori do my ads because I don't want to waste a whole day doing that. So, and then for the done for yous, like, sure, I built them. It took me years. You could do it. Everybody can build them, but it's going to just really take a lot of your time when you could be out there working, just get the material and go. That's what I always say. Try to make it as easy as possible.
I was just going to pretty much say, you can't promote it enough. I mean, you might think you're talking about it all the time, or you don't want to come off as salesy, but you don't even have to be salesy about it. Just, because you have to realize when you're on social media or when you're sending an email, or when you're talking to people, they're only hearing it one time. You know what I mean? Or they maybe in social media, especially, maybe they totally missed your post. So,
How does
don't feel
that
bad
work?
about saying it often.
How does it work when they're doing an ad? So if they do an ad and like, because sometimes I'll see the same ad on my algorithm, like every day, nonstop, all day long. It's because it's like weird. They stalk you because I can be talking about, my chickens in the backyard, and the next
Yeah.
thing you know, all this chicken feed and the lie and blah, 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 all this stuff is coming up because they know what your interests are.
Yeah.
But
Well, they swear they're not listening, but I mean, so, and not to get too technical, but you have a Facebook. So let's say somebody, well, like, let's just say you, okay? I've installed a Facebook pixel on your website. Okay. When I run ads for you, if anyone interacts with your ad, if they like scroll and then scroll back, or they spend any amount of time on it, or they click it, or they go to your website, or whatever the case is, now Facebook knows that you're interested in that topic or in that product. So now I can run a retargeting campaign, which is sending that ad to you over and over and over again. Because people have to see things 7, 10 times before they actually react.
yeah,
Yeah. And in multiple places.
yeah.
So it also tracks, like, let's say I saw you on Facebook and I didn't do anything. And then for whatever reason, I couldn't find you again, but I kind of remembered your name, like, the name of your business. So I Googled you and I found you through Google search. It now knows that I looked at you on Facebook and I looked at you on Google. So now like you're double like, oh, must really be who your ideal customer is. So it's definitely going to follow you from there.
Yeah.
So that's why. I mean, they're retargeting you. They know that you had some interest some way, somehow. Now, I've clicked accidentally scrolling and hit an ad that I did not mean to hit. And it is like, now I'm like, oh, great. Now that ad's going to follow me forever. And it does.
For sure.
But that's kind of it. That's very basic how it works.
Okay. I mean, yeah, because but it can get very cumbersome. And you have to find, as I said, what works for you. It's kind of like a match of your energy. If you're a writer, then you want to get them on your email list because you're going to be writing things. That's where you're going to project your feeling. If you are techie, you're probably going to want to do social media. You're going to want to maybe do Google ads. I know Lori does that too. But like you're going to want to uh there's just so many different ways. I taught at a lot of corporations too, yoga. And so then they started asking me, that's how the whole corporate thing came about. They started asking me to do presentations. They knew I was also a nutritionist, health coach. Yeah, health coach. And so the first time I had to give a talk, oh my gosh, was I scrambling. And then
Yeah.
I put it all together and I had my handouts. And the one bit of advice I will say when you do things like that and you have handouts is the best thing is you hand them out. So they're looking at the handouts. You don't have to memorize it because you're looking at the handout. You're like going through the points.
And they're not looking at you.
And they're looking at you, but they're looking at that.
Right.
It's like,
Yep.
it makes life so much easier. But all those people, like I said, that's more grassroots. You're in front of people. And that's why for me, I loved the cooking classes live, but nowadays people are doing that too. It wasn't such a thing when I started. It wasn't even a thing. What am I saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Facebook was probably pretty brand
It
new.
didn't exist when I started.
Didn't exist.
No.
Okay. I didn't want to date you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
There was no social media. There was no such thing as YouTube. Like now I can watch YouTube and just get a whole meal plan.
Yeah.
So in some ways, I know coaches are like, but they can get all this information for free. And a lot of people get nervous of giving away a handout because then they think I've given away my information. But that's kind of how it is. You have to really keep giving things away to get their, like Lori said, gain their trust and this like love thing starts happening and it's like, that's my person.
Yeah.
And then they're following you. Like I follow some guy on YouTube like in a million years. I wouldn't have been thinking I'm gonna be like really. I had I don't know who even know who he is, but his messages always kind of resonates with me. And then he put out a program that was like a I don't know a YouTube learning class and so
Right.
forth. So I was like, oh, I trust him because I've been following him. And
Yeah.
that's really what you're looking to gain is that trust, likability factor. You can say the exact same thing as someone else, but because you say it, it sounds different. It's
Hmm.
just a thing.
Well, you have your spin on it.
Yeah, but and people connect with different
Yeah.
energies. Like you got to know, not everyone's going to connect with you. Not everyone's going to like you. And that was something that was hard. Like if I got an unsubscribed, it was like, take the knife out. But really, it doesn't matter. Those people just maybe they're going for, somebody that's like totally the opposite of
Yeah.
what I represent or my energy. I'm just like you know,
Well, and you know the way I like to think of that now, because I used to be the same way. Anytime would unsubscribe, I'm like, oh, what did I do wrong? But now I kind of think of it, well, they weren't my people,
yeah,
and they were costing me money by being on my email list. So, it's good to say, bye bye.
that's true too, and that's a good
Yeah.
point Laura, because I know that I had I was going to do an affiliate program with somebody, and they asked me how many people are on my email list, and they wanted somebody who had like 30,000 people on their email list, and I can remember when I was working with this chiropractor, and he asked me what my open rate was for my emails, and I'm like, I don't know, like 40%. He's like, that's remarkable. Nobody has that.
Aweber is what Sherry uses. MailChimp is the free one. MailChimp has actually come a long way. I actually have a client that uses MailChimp, and I didn't used to love it, and I used to steer people away from it, but they've come a long way. So they actually are getting better.
Right. And for me, the Aweber works fine because I have all the other things connected. So I
Yeah.
use PayPal, I have Aweber, I have my website. That we have on our resource also. There's the ability to get a website that's already like there's 5 things you need on your website, and those are already mapped out on the landing page. It's like a one page, and then Lori can help connect it. But most people want a little more on their website. Yes.
So we're probably totally overwhelming you.
Yeah, and we don't mean to because
Yeah.
here's what happens when you finish your coaching course. I don't know what program. I worked for Integrative Nutrition for 10 years after I graduated as one of their mentors. You're kind of like all of a sudden just like it would be like if you were a horse in a race and you got let out of the gate, but you didn't have any track. It's like, where do I go? What do I do? So the Wellness Cooking Academy isn't necessarily teaching people the nutrition part. Most people already have that by the time they find me. And it is more of a business course to put you in line with the steps to create a productive business because you have to have there are actual real steps. You have to have your forms, you have to have your legals, you have to know what you can and can't do. Um, and then how do you promote it? Like we go through in the course, we have the all of the back office stuff that I just mentioned, and then all the done for you. So you have material and step by step what to do. And not just cooking classes, but like how to give a talk, how to get yourself out in front of people. And then the last 3 or 4 weeks of the course is all marketing. And like we have Lori to help, and you got to know how to market. We're just like Lori said, we're overwhelming you now talking about a lot. But we're happy that you're here and happy that to share. And that's why we do this, because everybody should have somebody they can kind of use for an accountability partner. We do have private coaching and a mentor group, but that's an investment. We're going to get ready to wrap up. So, yeah, all right. Well, thank you for being here. We love helping. So, thank you, Lori. Thanks for being
All
here,
right. Thank you. All
for joining everybody, and
right. Bye.
bye. Thank you so much for watching. We hope that you will like and subscribe to our channel. See you next week.